In a galaxy where warfare is defined by precision strikes and technological superiority, a powerful fleet of humans presents an unsettling anomaly. Their ships are not designed for swift victories, but for enduring the most brutal, prolonged battles. When a seasoned Zix-Turon fleet admiral uncovers the terrifying truth about humanity's survival-driven combat strategies, he realizes that their resilience is not a weakness, it's their greatest strength. But will this revelation lead to peace, or a devastating war no one can win? The story opens with the Zix-Turon fleet admiral, a high-ranking officer of a powerful spacefaring species, confronted with an unusual situation. The admiral is reviewing sensor readings from a human warship, and his reaction is one of utter disbelief. His initial response to the data is one of confusion and skepticism, as the human warship's design defies the norms of advanced space warfare that he is accustomed to. The admiral is an experienced military strategist with thousands of years of combat experience. And for him, space warfare is defined by precision, efficiency, and optimization. Ships are designed to be sleek and effective, with each system functioning at its highest level of performance to ensure maximum tactical advantage. When he sees the human warship, the admiral is baffled by its seemingly chaotic and inefficient design. The ship doesn't follow the principles of advanced technology that have been perfected by the Galactic Confederation, the organization to which the admiral's species belongs. To the admiral, the human ship's design appears unrefined and backward. He's particularly struck by the sheer redundancy in the human ship systems. For example, the life support alone is designed with 4 separate backup systems, an approach that seems wasteful and unnecessarily complex. The admiral cannot fathom why any advanced species would design a ship with such a lack of sophistication. The redundancy, which would add weight and mass to the ship, goes directly against the principles of efficiency that govern Confederation engineering. This initial moment of disbelief sets the tone for the admiral's entire journey of discovery in the story. He has spent his life studying and engaging in battles with species that value efficiency above all else. Therefore, encountering a race like humanity, whose ships appear to be designed to withstand failure and absorb damage, challenges everything he thought he knew about space warfare. It introduces a profound conflict in his understanding of combat, forcing him to question whether the long-held ideals of his civilization truly represent the best approach to warfare in the harsh realities of the universe. As the analysis of the human warship continues, the Zix-Turon fleet admiral's disbelief only deepens. He learns that the human ship is not just poorly designed, but is intentionally constructed to endure failure rather than avoid it. In his mind, a well-engineered vessel is one that operates with singular, high-performing systems that are optimized for efficiency. Every function is integrated seamlessly, allowing for precision in combat and minimal margin for error. The admiral views anything beyond this as an inefficient waste of resources, and the human warship seems to embody everything he believes is wrong with space combat engineering. The human ship, in stark contrast to the admiral's own Confederation designs, has multiple redundant systems for every critical function. The concept of redundancy seems utterly foreign to him. For instance, the human ship's life support system isn't just one reliable system, but 4 separate backups, including a mechanical system that can function without any power. To the admiral, this is mind-boggling. Why would any species design a ship this way? He cannot comprehend why the humans would intentionally add complexity and weight to their ships when it could jeopardize their overall efficiency and performance in combat. This redundancy is not just a minor flaw, it's an intentional design philosophy. Each critical system is duplicated, and in some cases triplicate, to ensure that the ship remains operational even if one or more systems fail. The admiral's own fleet, built with precision and elegance, depends on singular, flawless systems. Any failure would likely cripple their effectiveness in battle. But the human ship is different. It is designed to survive even when things go wrong, something that goes against the grain of everything the admiral knows about combat readiness. The redundancy is a safeguard, a way of ensuring that the ship can continue fighting, regardless of damage or system failure. In the admiral's mind, this approach represents a fundamental misunderstanding of warfare. He believes that the true measure of a successful ship is how efficiently it can operate and eliminate threats with minimal resources. The human approach, however, shows a focus on surviving the chaos and unpredictability of battle, rather than eliminating it through flawless engineering. The human ship's design does not aim for perfection. It aims for resilience. This realization starts to hint at a much deeper, more fundamental difference between the Zix-Turan fleet and humanity, setting the stage for the Admiral's growing understanding of the human approach to warfare. As the analysis of the human warship continues, the Zix-Turan fleet Admiral is confronted with a further unexpected revelation. Human ships are equipped with not only energy shields but also layers of physical armor, including metallic alloys, ceramics, and reactive plating. This concept is so foreign to the Admiral that it completely upends his understanding of modern space warfare. In the Galactic Confederation, the idea of using physical armor in space combat is practically unheard of, especially among advanced civilizations. Space warfare has long relied on energy shielding and highly advanced, optimized systems that protect ships from damage. Physical armor, which adds unnecessary mass to a vessel, is considered a relic of the past, a method used by less sophisticated species who lack the technological prowess to create energy shields capable of withstanding enemy fire. The idea of incorporating armor into a modern warship's design seems inefficient to the Admiral. The concept of shielding in modern space combat is based on energy fields that absorb and deflect attacks with minimal weight or mass. These shields, combined with the advanced weaponry and targeting systems, allow ships to be sleek, fast, and highly maneuverable. The Admiral's own fleet, equipped with the most sophisticated technology, uses these methods to guarantee swift, decisive victories, and every design decision is made to ensure a ship's performance is optimized for the maximum possible tactical advantage. The addition of heavy armor, in contrast, seems like a design flaw, a dangerous liability that would only slow down a ship and hinder its effectiveness. However, as the sensor officer continues to present the data, the Admiral realizes that the human ships are designed to absorb not just energy-based attacks, but also physical impacts. Even if their energy shields fail, these ships are built to withstand direct hits from enemy fire. They are prepared for the possibility of losing their shields during combat and can continue to function under extreme conditions. This fundamentally challenges the Admiral's beliefs about the principles of space warfare. The human ships are not built for the sleek precision of modern battles, but for survival in the chaos and devastation of prolonged conflict. The physical armor is not a sign of technological inferiority, but a strategic decision to ensure that their ships can continue to fight even when things go wrong, something that the Admiral cannot fully comprehend. This revelation also highlights the difference in priorities between the Confederation and humanity. While the Confederation has focused on creating ships that operate flawlessly and end battles with precise, devastating strikes, the humans have engineered their ships to withstand punishment and keep fighting even when faced with catastrophic damage. The human warships are not designed for quick victories or clean, tactical battles. They're designed to survive long enough to secure victory, no matter how grim the odds. This shift in perspective shakes the Admiral, as he begins to understand that the humans are not simply inefficient. They are prepared for a kind of combat that his people have never considered, warfare that endures rather than seeks to avoid damage. This discovery forces the Admiral to reconsider the true meaning of efficiency in space combat. The next shocking revelation that compounds the Zix-Turan fleet Admiral's disbelief is the discovery that the human warship's weapon systems are also redundantly designed for prolonged combat, even in the face of system failure. The Admiral's surprise reaches new heights as he learns that not only do the humans design their ships to endure damage, but they also prepare for the eventuality that their primary weapon systems could fail during a battle. This is not a precaution that any advanced civilization would typically consider. In the Admiral's worldview, the goal is to ensure that a ship's weaponry is powerful, precise, and capable of decisive action from the moment combat begins. Weapon systems are expected to be reliable and capable of inflicting maximum damage with minimal risk. However, the human ship deviates from this logic by having multiple backup systems for their weapons. The human warship has backup targeting computers and manual override capabilities, ensuring that, even if the primary systems fail, their weapons can continue to function. What astonishes the Admiral even more is the inclusion of mechanical backup weapons, such as projectile guns, that can still operate even when all power is lost to the ship. This concept seems absurd to him. In modern space combat, energy-based weapons are the primary form of offense, as they can be easily controlled, directed, and maintained through a centralized, powered system. The idea of using projectiles, a method of warfare considered obsolete in space battles, is completely baffling. The Admiral cannot fathom why humans would incorporate such archaic weapons into their warships, especially when they are so much less effective than modern energy-based weapons. Moreover, the Admiral learns that the human crews are specifically trained for combat under extreme conditions, with detailed protocols designed to handle failing systems. The idea that humans might expect to fight through such failures shows a stark difference in approach. While other species might consider a ship's failure in battle as a sign of defeat, the humans plan for it. Their crews are prepared to continue fighting even if the situation becomes dire. The Admiral is struck by how this design philosophy is woven into the very fabric of human warfare. It's not just about having redundant systems. It's about creating an entire culture of warfare that expects things to go wrong and making sure their soldiers are mentally and physically prepared to continue fighting no matter what. The inclusion of mechanical weapons and the training of human crews to fight through damage and failure suggests that the humans are not just designing their ships to survive. They are designing them to keep fighting until the end. This is a radical departure from the Admiral's understanding of space warfare, where failure is a catastrophic event that typically ends the battle. For the humans, however, failure is merely another hurdle to overcome. This realization forces the Admiral to confront the underlying philosophy of human warfare. It's not about winning battles quickly and efficiently, but about enduring and continuing the fight even when victory seems impossible. The human approach to weaponry is less about technological sophistication and more about sheer resilience and determination, qualities that the Admiral has never before considered essential to success in war. The next crucial aspect of humanity's approach to warfare that the Zix-Turon Fleet Admiral uncovers is the sheer breadth and depth of the human combat training and survival protocols. These protocols are specifically designed for situations where everything goes wrong. When the ship is severely damaged, critical systems fail, and the crew is forced to continue fighting under the most hostile and life-threatening conditions. This realization is another turning point for the Admiral, as it unveils a cultural and tactical mindset that is alien to him. In the Admiral's own military tradition, once a ship is critically damaged or its systems begin to fail, the battle is typically considered lost, and the objective shifts to retreat or salvaging what can be done. In contrast, the human approach teaches their soldiers and crew to continue fighting no matter the odds. The Admiral is struck by the fact that humanity's training goes far beyond standard military protocols. The humans do not simply train their crews to handle combat situations in which the ship is functioning normally. They prepare them for catastrophic circumstances. Crews are taught how to fight with failing systems, to continue operating in a ship that may be venting atmosphere, and how to fight even when major components of the ship are disabled or destroyed. The human crew is trained to remain calm, resourceful, and focused even when the situation becomes dire, a mindset that directly contradicts the more conventional, strategic, and precise approach favored by the Confederation. For the Admiral, this is an entirely new concept. He is used to the idea of soldiers trained for quick, efficient actions, using perfect systems that operate flawlessly to quickly overwhelm the enemy. What truly sets the humans apart, however, is their preparation for situations in which they may have no choice but to engage in desperate, brutal combat. For example, one of the protocols is for the crew to fight even when the atmosphere of the ship is venting into space. If a ship is severely damaged and the air pressure is lost, the crew is still expected to continue engaging the enemy. Similarly, they even have protocols for fighting using physical force when all else fails, including a procedure for ramming enemy ships as a last resort. This desperate willingness to fight to the bitter end regardless of the cost, highlights a key difference in mindset between the humans and the Admiral's people. The Admiral species fights with the expectation that they will operate under controlled, optimal conditions, whereas the humans appear to operate with the assumption that their victory will come not because their systems are flawless, but because they are willing to fight on against all odds, enduring the worst conditions imaginable. For the Admiral, this is a deeply unsettling discovery. It suggests that humanity's resolve is not just a physical trait, but a psychological one as well. The human warrior, it seems, is not merely a soldier. They are survivors, conditioned to fight not when victory is likely, but when defeat is all but assured. This mentality, the Admiral realizes, is what makes humanity uniquely dangerous. Not their technology, not their weaponry, but their unyielding will to endure. It is a kind of brutal persistence that no other species seems to possess to the same degree. The realization forces the Admiral to reconsider the effectiveness of traditional warfare tactics. While the Confederation's forces rely on strategy, precision, and technological superiority, the humans' approach is rooted in raw determination to outlast and outfight any enemy, no matter how dire the situation. This fundamental difference in approach is a clear indicator of why humanity's ships are designed the way they are, built to withstand damage and keep fighting long after the point where others would give up. As the Zix-Turon fleet admiral processes the information about humanity's unconventional warship designs and survival protocols, a crucial realization begins to dawn on him. The human ships, with their layers of redundant systems, physical armor, and projectile weapons, are not just designed to survive. They are designed for prolonged warfare under the harshest possible conditions. The Admiral's previous understanding of modern space combat, quick, decisive battles fought using highly optimized technology, collapses in the face of humanity's approach. His disbelief transforms into a profound sense of awe and dread as he begins to understand that humanity's philosophy of warfare is fundamentally different from the Confederation's. The Admiral has spent thousands of years in space warfare, observing the tactics of countless civilizations, each relying on technological superiority, precise strikes, and optimized designs to win battles. The Confederation's ships are the epitome of elegance and efficiency. Light, fast, and powerful, designed for perfect performance with minimal maintenance. But the humans have not followed this blueprint. Instead, they have created warships that are heavy, inefficient, and capable of absorbing tremendous amounts of damage. More than that, they have designed their ships to keep functioning even when key systems fail. In essence, human ships are built not for victory through speed and precision, but for survival and attrition. The human's philosophy is clear: prepare for the worst, endure through suffering, and keep fighting even when all hope seems lost. This realization strikes the Admiral with full force. The human ships are not the product of an attempt to outmaneuver or outgun an opponent. They are built to fight with the assumption that everything will go wrong. They prepare their crews for constant failure, with systems in place to keep fighting despite damage, malfunction, or complete system breakdowns. This is a mindset the Admiral has never encountered before. The concept of designing a ship not to avoid taking damage, but to ensure it can continue operating even after sustaining catastrophic damage, is a fundamental shift in warfare strategy. Where the Confederation ships are designed to win quickly, human ships are designed to prolong the battle, with the ultimate goal of never giving up, no matter the odds. The implications of this realization are profound. If the humans had engaged in battle, the Admiral now knows, they would not have adhered to the rules of civilized space warfare that he and his fleet are accustomed to. They would have fought without hesitation, with desperation, and with a relentless drive to survive. The Confederation's sophisticated, finely tuned ships would have been vulnerable to this kind of raw, unrelenting warfare. The human approach to war is not just about technological resilience. It is about the human will to endure no matter what. The human mindset is fundamentally different. They do not expect battle to be clean or controlled. Instead, they expect the fight to be brutal and prolonged, with victory determined not by precision, but by sheer refusal to accept defeat. The Admiral recognizes, with growing unease, that this shift in warfare philosophy means that the galaxy just became much more complicated. The Confederation had relied on the assumption that war would be fought under civilized rules. Rules that involve quick, decisive engagements based on technological superiority. But humanity has rewritten the rules. By preparing for the worst and designing their ships and training their crews to endure even catastrophic failures, they have made themselves a uniquely formidable force. This discovery forces the Admiral to rethink not only the nature of future engagements with humans, but also the very nature of conflict in the galaxy. What the Admiral now sees is that humanity's approach to war is based on a resilience and tenacity that no other species has demonstrated to such a degree. The humans, with their readiness to fight on to the bitter end, are not just another civilization in space. They are an entirely new kind of threat, one that cannot be easily defeated by conventional methods. The moment of true revelation for the Zixtaron Fleet Admiral comes when he receives a communication from the human flagship, the UES Thermop. The human captain, Sarah Chun, sends a calm and measured message, which upon initial glance seems like a routine request for the fleet to cease its aggressive actions. However, the Admiral realizes that the message carries a much deeper, unspoken meaning. In her communication, Captain Chun refers to the human fleet's aggressive approach vector and scanning activities, warning that such actions could be construed as a prelude to hostile engagement, referencing Article 7 of the Galactic Convention. The manner in which she phrases the message, polite but firm, reveals much more about the human mindset than the words themselves. The Admiral notes that Captain Chun doesn't make any overt threats. There is no open confrontation or display of aggression in her words. Yet, the mere reference to the Thermop sends a strong signal. The Admiral, aware of human history, recognizes the name of the ship and its historical significance. The Thermop refers to a famous battle from Earth's past, where a smaller, outnumbered force fought off a much larger and technologically superior enemy through sheer determination and preparation. The historical reference is not lost on the Admiral. In this single name, the humans are sending a clear message. If it comes to combat, they are ready to fight with everything they have, not out of pride or arrogance, but because of a deep-rooted history of survival against overwhelming odds. This history is a silent threat that conveys the human willingness to stand their ground, no matter how insurmountable the challenge may seem. The Admiral's response to Captain Chun is one of calculated diplomacy, recognizing that the human fleet is not bluffing, but instead is fully prepared for the worst. He orders his own fleet to alter course. The Admiral tells his communications officer to send a message expressing regret for any perceived aggression and to reassure the humans that the fleet is adjusting its course in the spirit of peaceful diplomatic relations. However, even as he gives this order, the Admiral knows that the human fleet's calm response and its implicit message of defiance have profoundly shifted his understanding of how to approach the humans. The cold certainty that now grips him is that the humans are not like other species he has encountered. They will not follow the rules of engagement that the Confederation is accustomed to. If war had broken out, the humans would not have fought with the precision and elegance of other civilizations. Instead, they would have fought with the fierce, unyielding spirit of a species that has known hardship and survival for millennia. The Admiral realizes that this message, though polite on the surface, is also a declaration of intent. It is not a call for negotiation, but a statement of readiness. The humans are prepared for war, and the Admiral understands that if the conflict had escalated, they would have fought in a way that would have left his fleet at a disadvantage. This is not just a military difference. This is a cultural and philosophical one. The humans' willingness to engage in prolonged, brutal warfare, refusing to accept defeat under any circumstances, makes them a far more unpredictable and dangerous adversary than the Admiral had previously understood. It is a subtle yet powerful reminder that, for humanity, war is not just about victory. It is about survival, no matter the cost. The Admiral now knows that the human fleet is not one to be underestimated, not because of its technology or tactics, but because of the tenacious, unwavering resolve that drives it. In essence, Captain Chin's message is not merely a diplomatic gesture. It is an assertion of humanity's philosophy of warfare. It is a warning that should combat occur, the humans would fight with an intensity and persistence that no other species could match. They would not adhere to the conventional rules of war. They would fight for survival, using every tool at their disposal, including their own determination and resilience. This realization sends a chilling wave of understanding through the Admiral. Humanity's capacity for war is not based on technological superiority or tactical finesse, but on an unbreakable will to endure, which makes them an incredibly dangerous force in the galaxy. As the Admiral begins to absorb the full scope of the human approach to warfare, he experiences a profound shift in understanding that fundamentally alters his perception of the galaxy and its future. The human fleet, which he once considered to be primitive and inefficient, now stands out as a remarkable example of preparation for the most brutal, long-term conflicts. The realization that humanity's ships are not designed to win quickly, but to endure through protracted warfare starts to make sense in the context of their history. The humans' primary aim is not technological perfection or rapid, decisive strikes, but survival, both for their ships and their crews, under the harshest conditions imaginable. This insight changes the Admiral's entire approach to the potential for conflict with humanity. It is no longer about defeating an adversary through conventional means. It is about the recognition that, to defeat humans, one must not only overpower them technologically, but also outlast them. The Admiral now understands that humanity's preparedness for war goes far beyond their ships' redundancy and mechanical backups. Their readiness extends to the mindset of their people, who have evolved through centuries of conflict and hardship. The humans' emphasis on ensuring that every system on their ships can continue to function even when power is lost is not just a design choice. It is a direct reflection of their culture. They have learned to expect disaster, and in response, they have created a way of life that incorporates enduring, no matter how severe the odds may be. This attitude, the Admiral realizes, comes from a species that has fought countless battles for survival. One that has learned to accept that war is unpredictable and chaotic. They do not plan for perfect victories. Instead, they plan for the inevitable failures and strive to keep fighting through them. This philosophy of enduring and adapting to adversity has huge implications for the way warfare might unfold in the galaxy. The Admiral knows that most civilizations, including the Confederation, have relied on swift, tactical battles, where a victory is achieved through decisive engagements. The human approach, however, prioritizes a kind of warfare where the battle is not necessarily won by the first strike, but by the persistence to keep going when things go wrong. This approach forces a re-evaluation of how to engage with humans in the future. It also introduces a level of unpredictability to galactic warfare. No longer could the Confederation count on the certainty of battle being won through technological supremacy or a decisive, well-executed plan. With the humans' capacity to adapt and fight through failures, the rules of engagement have fundamentally shifted. The Admiral begins to grasp that the future of the galaxy may be defined by the kind of warfare humanity represents: ugly, chaotic, and relentless. A species that has survived against seemingly impossible odds is now one that cannot be easily defeated by conventional methods. The realization sends ripples of concern through the Admiral. If humanity were to engage in a full-scale war with the Confederation, it would not be a short-lived affair. The human fleet would fight in a manner that the Admiral and his subordinates are not accustomed to. They would fight with every scrap of resource, every backup system, and the determination to continue even when all appears lost. The Confederation's reliance on precision, elegance, and technological superiority could very well fall short against this kind of brutal, persistent combat. Humanity's ability to absorb punishment and keep fighting would drain resources and morale in a way that few adversaries ever could. As the Admiral watches the human fleet disappear into faster-than-light, FTL, travel, he feels a growing sense of respect mixed with wariness. Humanity's approach to war is not merely a tactical difference. It is a philosophy that could change the entire landscape of galactic conflict. The discovery of this mindset, preparedness for the worst, and determination to never surrender, forces the Admiral to adjust the Confederation's military strategy. The galaxy has just become more complicated, as humanity's unpredictable, resourceful, and stubborn nature now poses a very real threat to any who might seek to conquer or outmaneuver them. The Admiral recognizes that humanity's approach to warfare is not something easily defeated by traditional methods. Instead, it will require new tactics, new strategies, and a deep understanding of human resolve. This discovery marks a pivotal moment in galactic history, where the notion of warfare will never be the same again. After his intense realization about humanity's unique approach to warfare, the Admiral understands that the information he has gathered must be disseminated to the highest levels of the Confederation's military leadership. The discovery about humanity's readiness for prolonged conflict and their unyielding perseverance in the face of adversity cannot be overlooked. As a result, the Admiral immediately orders an update to the Confederation's combat databases. This action is crucial to ensure that all future military strategies and operations account for humanity's unconventional tactics, which are now proven to be a significant factor in how they fight wars. The Admiral's command to update the databases is not a simple matter of adding a new entry to a record of tactical options. It is a strategic recalibration of how the Confederation will approach the concept of warfare. Human ships, with their redundancy, physical armor, and mechanical backup systems, represent a new kind of challenge. The database will need to incorporate detailed analysis of these human traits. The way their ships are designed not for rapid victory, but for survival through intense, drawn-out engagements. The way their crews are trained to continue fighting even when their systems fail. And their commitment to war that does not end with a single battle, but extends into an unrelenting fight until either side is completely exhausted. These traits must be understood not only in the context of ship-to-ship combat, but also in terms of how entire campaigns might unfold in the future. In addition to updating the combat databases, the Admiral also commands that a priority message be sent to High Command. This message will outline the critical information about humanity's approach to warfare, ensuring that the highest-ranking members of the Confederation are fully aware of what the Admiral has just discovered. This message is an urgent communication, as the Admiral realizes that any future military engagement with humans must be prepared for the most extreme scenarios. No longer can the Confederation simply rely on its advanced technology and elegant tactics. It must now factor in humanity's resilience, adaptability, and determination. The Admiral's recognition of the human approach shifts the galactic military outlook, with the knowledge that humanity's method of warfare could complicate conflicts in ways previously unimagined. The updating of the combat databases and the urgent message to High Command are part of a broader strategy to ensure that the Confederation is prepared for the new reality humanity represents. The Admiral's urgent tone highlights the gravity of the situation. What was once thought of as a primitive species with inefficient ship designs has now revealed itself to be a force that could disrupt the balance of power in the galaxy. Humanity's emphasis on survivability and their unwillingness to accept defeat even in the most dire situations means that they are no longer just another member of the galactic community. They are now a force to be reckoned with. The complexity of engaging with humanity on the battlefield has just escalated. Every conflict with humanity will now require a recalibration of expectations, strategies, and tactics. This shift in perspective has broader implications for the Confederation's military planning. The Admiral's understanding that humanity fights not according to the civilized rules of space warfare, but according to a much more brutal and enduring mindset, forces the Confederation to consider new forms of diplomacy and engagement. The humans' ability to fight in a way that could stretch battles out for much longer than anticipated means that traditional methods of negotiating peace or concluding conflicts may no longer be viable. The message to High Command is, therefore, not just about updating combat tactics, but also about rethinking how the Confederation interacts with humanity as a whole. Humanity's place in the galactic order has been permanently altered by their unyielding approach to warfare. As the human fleet disappears into FTL, the Admiral reflects on how the galaxy just became a much more complicated place. The previous assumptions about humanity's role and their potential for engagement in galactic conflicts have been shattered. No longer will the Confederation be able to assume that it can fight humanity like it would any other civilization. The knowledge that humanity is prepared for the worst possible scenarios in warfare changes the dynamics of every future conflict. It is a realization that will have long-lasting effects on military strategies, alliances, and even diplomatic relations throughout the galaxy. The Confederation must now approach humanity with far more caution, respect, and understanding, knowing that the humans' relentless, survivalist nature could make them far more dangerous than previously thought. In a stunning twist, the Admiral's realization that humanity's ships and crews are not designed for rapid victories, but for prolonged, grueling survival in combat has an unintended consequence. It prevents a potential war. The humans' unusual, seemingly inefficient approach to warfare, characterized by redundancies, mechanical backups, and the expectation of catastrophic failure, actually serves as a deterrent rather than an invitation for aggression. The humans' unwavering preparedness for the worst possible outcomes sends a powerful message that they are not an easy target for conquest or annihilation. Their very readiness to fight to the bitter end becomes the ultimate defense, causing the Admiral and his fleet to reconsider the wisdom of initiating conflict. The moment the Admiral fully grasps the extent of humanity's combat readiness, he realizes that their ships and crews are not just capable of fighting. They're designed to make war as brutal and drawn out as possible. The human fleet's capacity to absorb hits, continue fighting with multiple backup systems, and adapt to almost any scenario makes them a formidable force that would not be easily defeated. The Confederate military leadership had assumed that they could defeat humanity quickly and decisively, following the traditional model of warfare, where advanced technology, strategic precision, and overwhelming force would guarantee victory. But the humans have turned this model upside down. They are prepared to fight for survival, even when all seems lost, making it clear that a conventional conflict with them would not only be difficult, but potentially disastrous for any aggressor. Their willingness to endure and keep fighting no matter the circumstances challenges the very idea of what it means to win a war. The crucial point comes when the Admiral reflects on how humanity's mindset and preparedness have averted a conflict. The Admiral initially planned to confront humanity's fleet, believing they were an easy target due to their perceived inefficiency. However, after analyzing the humans' capabilities, he understands that such an engagement would result in a protracted war of attrition that the Confederation may not be able to win. He realizes that humanity's focus on survival and relentless determination in battle, even in the face of overwhelming odds, would lead to an outcome far different from what the Confederation expected. Faced with the possibility of a war that could drag on indefinitely and cost untold resources, the Admiral makes the strategic decision to back down. He alters the fleet's course, issuing an apology for any perceived aggression and hoping to establish peaceful relations with humanity instead. This decision prevents an immediate conflict and establishes humanity as a force that will no longer be underestimated. Furthermore, this decision has profound implications for the future of galactic diplomacy. Humanity's preparedness for war, manifested in their ships, their crews, and their unwavering mindset, demonstrates to the galaxy that they are not a species to be taken lightly. The fear of a drawn-out conflict, where the humans would keep fighting no matter the cost, has far-reaching consequences. The Confederation, once confident in its technological superiority and its ability to defeat any species through advanced warfare tactics, now faces a new kind of challenge. Humanity's approach to warfare, though unconventional, creates a new equilibrium in the galaxy. It forces other civilizations to reconsider how they might interact with humanity and whether they should seek peaceful relations rather than provoke potential conflict. The Admiral's final realization, watching the human fleet disappear in a faster-than-light travel, is that humanity's seemingly inefficient approach to ship design and combat tactics has done something unprecedented. It has prevented a war simply by demonstrating that humanity is willing to fight to the bitter end. The human fleet's redundancy and durability, their training to handle catastrophic failure, and their relentless determination have turned what could have been a military conquest into a diplomatic opportunity. The Admiral knows that future conflicts with humanity will require new strategies, ones that account for humanity's unique ability to endure and fight on through the most extreme conditions. In the grand scheme of galactic dynamics, humanity has shifted the power balance. The Admiral is left to ponder the broader implications of this new reality. Humanity, though not technologically superior, has shown that their ability to outlast and continue fighting is a force that must be reckoned with. The galaxy has become a more complex place, where victory is no longer just about technological supremacy, but about the will to survive and never accept defeat.